Hello everyone, this is Vanessa and I'm going to try to do this really fast. I'm going to do my experience about CUTCO, Vectors Marketing Corporation. If you guys are not familiar with CUTCO, it's they're culinary knives where you could use in the kitchen and stuff like that, and you know, they're a lifetime warranty, and you know, they're amazing knives. I will say they're an amazing product. They're quite pricey, but they're worth what you're paying for. I'm gonna explain to you guys the process because I know a lot of people right now across the country are hired to do this, be a CUTCO representative, and you know, I'm gonna talk about what I pretty much did and my experience with it. A lot of people say it's a scam, blah blah, and I'm gonna tell you guys the honest truth about this because this will probably determine whether you want to work for them or not. So I got a letter in the mail. This is how it all started. I got a letter in the mail telling me, you know, like, you know, dear Vanessa, we're offering you a job right now because la la la, you could, whatever the case was, you know, they basically told me call this number, and it told me, you know, $17 an app, APPT. And I was like, what is that? You know, 17 bucks, it kind of stand out like a sore thumb. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna call this number. I ended up calling them. You know, I was talking to the girl in the office, and she was like, you know what, you know, we work, yeah, and it's pretty cool. And you know, she explained to me, you know, she's like, oh, you basically show your customer your product or whatever, blah 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 blah. I was like, oh, cool, you know, me thinking in my head it's gonna be in an office. They're gonna come to the office, and you're just gonna basically show them. You know, I was like, oh, you know, I could do that. I'm really social. So you know, she's like, I could schedule an appointment for you at 4 o'clock, and this time it was 12. And I was like, 4 o'clock? Like, the heck? I wasn't even like dressed or anything, you know, I didn't have no professional clothes or anything. And she was like, well, you know, it's you know, first come, first go. If you come right now and you get the job, you know, then it's yours. If not, then you missed out. Practically, you know, that's what she was saying. So, I was like, okay, you know, give me the thing, you know, and I went at 4, actually I went like at 3:45 or something. So I ended up going, and they basically, you know, told me, my manager, you know, he went and he was like, oh, I'm Matt, blah blah, all this stuff. And then, you know, I was like, I was the second girl there. So then, you know, in total around 17 people ended up going, and you know, you basically had to fill out an application and blah blah. So then you went into the office with him, and for me it was 2 people at a time. So during those 2 people, you know, he asked us questions about if you had transportation, if you had your license, and all this stuff. And, you know, he's like, well, there's a second part of the interview. If you make it, then you're most likely to be qualified to go to, you know, to work with us. So at this point, I was like, well, you know, I don't mind, you know. So then it was like already almost over, and he was like, okay, well, you are qualified to go to the second part of the interview. So I was like, okay. So then I went, and the whole process about this was probably like 2 hours and a half. And, you know, at the end of the interview, and everything, the group and all that stuff, you had like a group interview. That was the second part. He gave you like a little booklet and a paper. And he was like, okay, well, if we call you, then you'll, you know, I'll tell you if we need you or not. Whatever, you know, I left. I was like, okay, thank you, you know, have a nice day. The day kept on going, and it was like 9:30. And, you know, I got a missed call from my phone, and I was like, I called it back, and you know, it was the guy, Matt. He was like, okay, well, congratulations, we basically gave you the job, you know, come back. Like, he gave me like the schedule of it. Kind of forgot. It was, I know it was 3 days in training, 1 2 3, which it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And you know, I was like, okay, you know. So then I went this was a Tuesday, I had Wednesday off, and I went back on Thursday. I went on Thursday, like, it was from 10 to 3. So that's 5 hours. Out of those, the first thing I hated was out of those 5 hours, I only had a 10-minute break, which is, like, stupid. So then, you know, during the whole first day of training, You know, he basically gave us everything we have to learn, everything we have to do. And, you know, at this point, I did not know we would have to go door to door to knock and ask people to buy knives. I was like, that's not what the girl told me, you know, because when I called the girl, she was like, no, you don't have to do that. Basically, what he had you doing, it's ridiculous. I feel like, anyways, you know, he gave us the book and he told us this is what you're going to be doing, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to go to, you know, your customer, you're going to make a call. And every call you make, you get $17. Here in California, I don't know where else you do it. You get $17. So, you know, 17 bucks, I was like, that's not bad, you know? So, you know, you could show your families, your neighbors, your friends, whoever it is, and you can make 17 bucks in each person. That's what they had us set, right? Okay, I understood that part. Then, what happens when you don't have any more friends? Like, any more people to show the knives to? You have to obviously go door to door to make more money. And then they start talking about how you have to make like $10,000 just worth out of knives. And I was like, oh my God. When I got the job, I was so excited. I posted on Facebook, and you know, and one of my cousin's friends, she was like, oh, you know, it's such a coincidence, you know, I did all of that stuff, but I resigned the job because they didn't have no health insurance. I was like, you're gonna be in an office, you know. I was like, you're gonna be in an office, why do you need health insurance for? You really don't need it. Once, you know, they started talking about how you have to go door to door, I understood what she meant when she said they didn't have health insurance. I was like, so basically if you go to like a house you don't even know and they do something to you, CUTCO, Vectors Marketing Corporation, whatever it is not responsible for it. So basically if you die, they don't care. You know, it's not their business, you know. So I was like, oh my God, like, you know, after, you know, a while of doing all of that stuff, like, you know, this whole CUTCO thingy, they give you a booklet, okay? So basically, they tell you everything you're going to say. So this whole process, it's scripted. For example, you start reading from the book. You start reading, for example, it says, like I said, let's say her name's Mrs. Jones or something. You know, it says, like I said on the phone, you don't have to buy anything. But if you're interested and want to buy something, you could do it today. That's what it says. And then it says in bold letters to turn to page 1 and 2 in the blue book. The blue book is like all of the things that the whole knives have, you know? It tells you all of that stuff. So then it tells you, on to the second part, it tells you about the history of this. And you have to read it. You're like, we have been in business since 1949. I already have memorized this thing, and okay, let me continue. So then it says, okay, you know, whatever. And then at the last part, you take out your scissors and you ask the customer, oh, can I have a penny, you know? And then basically you have to do the demonstration and cut a penny up and be like, and then that's when they're like, oh, you know, that's so cool. I ended up, you know, I felt like this was a scam. I felt like it's not, I don't know, like they just want you to keep, you know. And then the third day, the worst thing about this is the third day of the training, they make you buy the set of the knives to demonstrate it to people. They don't let you, you know, you have to buy them, which is like 150 bucks. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I got a job to gain money, not to give it to you guys. And they're like, well, we'll take it out of your paycheck. I was like, what the heck? I'm not trying to do that. So, you know, I honestly, after the first day of training, I felt like this job was not for me. I felt like it was just the worst thing, the worst decision I ever made, you know. And while I was doing the whole training, like when I was like, when they called me, I did some research, and you know, a lot of people said it was a scam and they hated it, and I was like, oh, you know, people are never satisfied with what they do and all that stuff, so, you know, give it a try. I gave it a try, and I tried to do this, like, you know, I tried to, you know, be patient with this, but honestly, everyone there was so stuck up. It was not for me, and I felt really bad. And you know, I had a lot of people who gave me advice, because I felt like, you know, it's money, you know, you have to do what you got to do to get money. Yeah, not this. I was not about to go to people's house I don't even know them, and like, you know, try to sell a product that you never know. This world is full of bad people. You know, you never know. They probably will stab you or something. Isn't it illegal to like walk to like a house and be like, you want a knife? Here you go. You know, it's ridiculous. But honestly, my experience, I hated the job. I hated it. I quitted the freaking during training. I quit it. I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this. I called my my manager, and I was like, you know what, Matt, I really appreciate, you know, everything you know, the time you gave me, blah blah blah. You know, I just gave it a lot of thinking, and I don't think this is for me. It just wasn't. So yeah, that was my experience with CUTCO's. It's like right now I'm still like relieved. Like I was so relieved afterwards I quit. I was just like, hell no, this is not for me. Well, yes, I hope you guys you know, got this. A lot of people have different opinions. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, well, you know, this is blah blah blah. But for me, this is my opinion. It was not working for me. I had to quit, and you know, I was better off working at Jack in the Box. That's how bad it was. So let me know if you guys ever had this to work for this company. A lot of people don't know about it, but I didn't know about it until that day. So let me know on the box below if you guys ever had the same experience with me. So yeah, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Bye.